New York principal sends parents pamphlet asking them to rate their whiteness and urging them to be white traitors who dismantle institutions.
What is this? What is this? What?
I take 2 weeks off, America. You had one job, and that was don't get more woke. And you give me this? You gotta be kidding me. Hello and welcome to The Ordeal. Well, if this is your first time to my channel, I challenge all things woke. And I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like on my video, shared this on social media, and left a comment. Now, when you're leaving a comment, please don't attack any group of people or any individuals. I personally, freedom of speech, it's fine. You say what you want to say. Say it loud, say it proud. But YouTube, they will kind of target me if I get people commenting in a way that they find inappropriate on my channel. So recently, for example, I had a viewer say, hey, this group of people did this to themselves, so therefore they deserve what they get. The first part of that comment, this group of people did this to themselves, that's fine. Pointing out that somebody did, is the cause of their own fate, that's perfectly fine. But then saying that they deserve bad things to happen to them because of that, I don't think YouTube would like that very much. So just, try to be considerate of other people in the world when you're posting comments, and try not to attack anyone. Anyway, on to this article, which is just insanity. Over here on the right, we have the a breakdown of the various types of whiteness that you can be. So there is a regime of whiteness, and there are action-oriented white identities, Hesse wrote above the 8-point list. So I cut out the beginning of this because it was super boring. This is the guy they're talking about, Hesse. You'll see his name when I scroll down. That's his last name. People who identify with whiteness are one of these. Number 1, white supremacist, perceived to be the worst grouping in the list, believe in a clearly marked white society that preserves names and values. White superiority. Yeah, okay. The next level down is white voyeurism, which are people who wouldn't challenge a white supremacist. People in this group are described as desiring non-whiteness because it's interesting and pleasurable. This group seeks to control the consumption of and appropriation of non-whiteness. Don't you think there might be like a step in between here? Maybe a couple steps between, like, I want to have a completely white society where there's no other races around, to, hey, I like having other races around because it makes things more interesting. I think there might be a step in between those two. I'm just tossing that out there. But I mean, look at this guy right here. He looks like he's a real winner, doesn't he? I mean, I know he's an educator, and I am also an educator, in case you didn't know that. But he doesn't look like he's playing with a full deck. And I don't mean that he's insane, but he looks like he's not too bright. The next tier, white privilege. People may critique white supremacy, while those below them, white benefit, are sympathetic to non-white issues, but only privately. What? The graphic notes that some people of color also fit into the white benefit category, though does not explain further. No, that doesn't make any sense. What the hell did he just... People may critique white supremacy, okay, while those below them, white benefit, are sympathetic to non-white issues, but only privately. All right, you need to be more clear in what you're saying here. Yeah, this is Barnor Hesse. He's a Northwestern University professor. If he really is a professor, that means he has more formal education than I do, but that doesn't say much these days. It's easy to get a master's degree. Really easy. All right. In the next category, white confessional. White people seek validation from people of color, and exposure of whiteness takes place, but as a way of being accountable to people of color. All right. This is... I don't look for anybody. I don't look to anybody else for my own validation, especially not when it comes to the color of my skin or the nature of my ancestry. That has absolutely nothing to do with with who I am as a person right now, here in this moment. Those who are white critical take on board critiques. I think it's supposed to be broad critique. Board critiques of whiteness and invest in exposing, marking the white regime. The document reads, those who are white critical refuse to be complicit with the regime and are described as whiteness speaking back to whiteness. Yeah, you come at me going, yeah, I'm bad. If a white person comes to me and says, yeah, I'm bad because I'm white, we're not having that. Them's fighting words where I come from. White traitors actively refuse complicity according to the document and want to subvert white authority and tell the truth at whatever the cost. White abolitionists, the lowest tier, I think it's supposed to say want, it says what to dismantle whiteness and to not allow whiteness to reassert itself. You realize that by dismantling whiteness, what that means is you're killing all white people. That's what that means. I mean, I'm not saying that. I believe me, I do not want myself to be killed just because of the color of my skin. That's ridiculous. And not only that, I mean, how do you define this, and who is more culpable, right? I mean, they just don't even know what they're talking about with this. Who is? Do we have to all get a DNA test to determine exactly what percentage of white we are, and then we can receive punishment based on the level of whiteness that we possess in our DNA? All right. Well, an education department official told the New York Post that the graphics were disseminated that doesn't really make any sense. An education department official told the New York Post that the graphics were disseminated to every parent as part of a series of materials meant for reflection and as food for thought. Food for thought. I got some food for thought. They can get it themselves. I don't need to give any food to thought. Whatever thought is, it can feed itself. Anti-racism and the celebration of diversity is at the core of our work on behalf of the young people of New York City and the East Side community, students, parents, and staffing partner together to avoid equity in their community, the official said in a statement. The document in question was shared with the school by parents as a part of ongoing anti-prejudice work in the school community and is one of the many resources the school utilizes. Okay, so you realize that by doing this, you're actually increasing prejudice, but it's against white people, so it's okay, right? You know, because white people, right? Am I right? Yeah. As far as the school's student demographics, the East Side Community School serves about 55% Hispanic students, 18% white students, and 15% black students, according to the Inside Schools. What? That's not 100%. That's 78%. Do you not know math? It's 88%, but still, that's like way less than 100%. That's only 88%. Where's the other 12%? It has about 680 students in grades 6 through 12 and does better than average on state tests, according to the site's data. 10th grade history classes use a curriculum designed by Facing History, an organization committed to examining history through the social justice lens. I'm betting they use 1619, don't they? Lessons emphasize ethical decision-making and the importance of being upstanders rather than mere bystanders of societal events, according to the website. Meanwhile, a white married father, 48, who has a daughter, 12, and a son, 8, enrolled in 2 different public schools in Manhattan's District 2, wrote in the New York Post op-ed that he fears his children are being brainwashed by their liberal school's anti-prejudice teachings. The dad describes his concerns when he learned his then 5-year-old son was being taught about transgender teenage YouTube star Jazz Jennings, calling it inappropriate. He added that he was told off by a teacher for giving pink toys to girls and blue toys to boys, and claimed his son was encouraged to take part in a gay rights walk in the classroom. Yeah, at 5 years old, that's stuff that should not be happening at 5 years old. Okay? I mean, I don't know what they were learning about Jazz Jennings, but if they're learning about, reproductive organs at 5, that's not appropriate. Okay? And I speak from experience because I knew what sex was when I was 7 years old. I had figured it out by then. Having an older brother with friends who were even older, had a brother 3 years older than me, and so he had friends who were 2 years older than him when I was 7, so that's, 12-year-old kids learning about this stuff and bringing it around me. So I learned about it when I was 7, and that was entirely too young. So you're going to really mess with these kids' heads, okay? So it's just an area you don't want to tread on until they're a little bit older. Just give them a few years, give them like 5, 6 more years before you start going down this road here, teaching them about reproductive organs. And not only that, I mean, it's why is it always, we gotta look at these people over here, this very small percentage of the population, and try and change the world. You know what we're becoming, and I've said this before, but we're becoming that society in the Hunger Games, the big evil society in the Hunger Games, where just anything goes. It doesn't really matter. You can just be whatever you want to be, and I'm all for people. You do you, whatever. I'm not all for it, but I mean, you do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting anyone. But at the end of the day, we need to have strong families, and we need to have social order, and we need to have morality, and we're just losing all of that in this country because we're focusing on the wrong things. We're focusing on these things that, does it really matter if somebody is gay? Is that really the hill you want to die on? Let them live their life as long as they're not hurting anyone. Fine. You may disagree with it, you may not like it, but you're not going to stop it. People have been doing this forever. He added that even in maths class, his children couldn't avoid the teacher's agendas, with his daughter's teacher telling her the only reason white people voted for Trump was that they wanted to hold on to their white privilege. Really, why don't you explain that to the Asian people I know who voted for Trump? I'm sure they don't agree with that. What has that got to do with teaching math, he asked. I've warned my son that his teachers may be brainwashing him, so he asks me about this stuff. But lots of kids don't have anyone else to fact check what they're learning or get the other side of the story. Dad added that he believes the teachers think they are doing good by teaching an anti-prejudice curriculum, but actually they're creating resentment between the races by telling black people that white people are inherently bad and hate them. This madness is infecting all schools. There's nowhere to run. To be frank, it's frightening, he added. Yes, it is. It is very frightening that they're teaching this stuff. This anti-white agenda is disgusting. I've said it before. And this is, what this channel is standing up to in the society, anti-male, anti-white belief system that is pervasive everywhere in this culture. I have to say something about it. If you're white, if you're male, start talking about it now. Talk to anybody and everybody who will listen to you about it, because it is wrong. File lawsuits that when these companies are in violation. Like, this is a public school district. They're not supposed to be teaching this stuff. They're not supposed to be teaching that there's differences in the race where, one race is inherently bad. That is illegal. I mean, it's based on state, but so this might not be affected by the federal stuff in the same way. But still, I'm pretty sure that we have a federal overarching law governing our school system. Like, you're not allowed to teach religion. You're not allowed to teach religion in schools, in public schools. This is a religion they're teaching. This is a religion. Original sin, white people. The devil, white people. There's absolutely nothing inherently wrong with white people or white culture. These are just things that exist. It's like me going and saying, oh, look, these people of a different color are bad. Or these people of a different genetic background are bad. And you want to, these people are saying this don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know what they're talking about, because I'll give you the perfect example. I worked with a black man shortly. He was, I think, 60 years old when I worked with him. Nice guy. Liked him. He was a refugee from Africa to the United States. And he was like, I was aristocracy in my home country. It was like high-level aristocracy too, like Prince or something like that. And he goes, I can't go back there. He's like, there was the rebellion, and they dislocated my arms and legs, and they threw me in a ditch and left me for dead. Fortunately, I survived, and then I made my way here to the United States. But if I go back there, they'll kill me. I'm like, what are you talking about? You go back there, they'll kill you. And he's like, yeah, if I go back there, they'll kill me. I'm like, well, how would they know? I mean, you're black, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm black. And he's like, well, isn't everybody living there black? He's like, yeah, they're all black. I'm like, but then how are they going to be able to tell you apart from anybody else? He's like, well, my nose is too wide and my hair is too soft. Are you kidding me? It'd be like white people going, all the blue-eyed people, we don't like them anymore. We're just going to get rid of them. All the blonde-haired people, we're going to start getting rid of them. Red-haired people, we're going to, just segregating based on these really superficial characteristics. I mean, like, even more superficial than what we see with racial differences. It's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, we should start segregating society that way. If you have red hair, that means you're more violent and more aggressive. Therefore, you should be in the military. Anybody else with any other color hair, you don't get to go to the military. We have to recruit all the red-haired people. Every single red-haired person has to be in the military. Period. This is so ridiculous. These people have these notions that it's white against everybody else, or it's Hispanic against these people, or it's this people against this people. No, it's none of that. And you need to stop with this right now. We need to focus on the real issue, which is rich versus poor. There is not really a formal class system inside of the United States, but there is a class system that has emerged. It's very, low key. Most people don't know it, but there's like the snooty wealthy people, and then there's the rest of us. Whether you have $1 million or not. I mean, you think that Elon Musk is invited to all the hoity-toity parties of these really wealthy people who've been wealthy for generations? Nope. He's not. He's not part of that crowd. Anyway, thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time.